He's done more for black history than any of the people calling him names about it. I wrote in one of his books, this is a dude who loves his job, but the thing he loves most about his job is being fair and being right.
With the way washed-up pro wrestler Tyrus is talking, you'd think he'd be praising one of the leading civil rights activists of the time. But you're smart enough to know that would never happen on this network called Fox News.
He's the one guy you can look at his track record, and when it comes to race, you could not say one bad thing about him. And from the bottom of my heart, for saying that about him.
Yeah. Beautiful.
So who was Tyrus so vehemently defending here?
It is, you got Airbus and you got Boeing, and it really hurts Americans' defense. It hurts America's transportation. It hurts America's economy. And the question is this about DEI? Are you not hiring the best people? Are you hiring the most diverse people? We already saw what it's done to the White House. They went over the top with diversity. They hired a bunch of people that don't even like Joe Biden. They're protesting him. Is that causing quality problems here?
None other than the intellectual powerhouse and beacon of the traditional masculinity Republican voters are obsessed with, host Brian Kilmeade. When he's not playing catch with Ron DeSantis or licking Dana White's boots clean, Kilmeade toes the line between MAGA and mainstream conservatism better than many of his other co-hosts, which not only makes Tyrus's assertion that much more laughable, but also makes Kilmeade an incredibly effective communicator of far-right policy positions, especially when it comes to culture war issues.
It is a shameless compilation of misstatements, misrepresentations of the American past. Like any other historian, I'm in favor of teaching African-American history, but I would like to see it taught accurately and well. This book is mainly aimed at provoking more or less despair on the part of African Americans and guilt on the part of white Americans.
Slavery horrendous, but it was on every continent in the world. Segregation wrong. We wish we had a better transition. Had Lincoln lived, perhaps we would have. Got it. But to say that some of the things they say that got us here the way we are is where I think the rubber hits the road.
Nothing says a clean track record on race, as Tyrus said, quite like softening the blow on the impact that slavery and the institutionalized, legalized dehumanization of an entire race had on the development of our country. And for all of Kilmeade's posturing as a history buff and the books he's written about American history, he should know better than to spew this ahistorical BS, but he's not paid to be honest.
There's a future for all of us, not just for some of us.
DEI is down 44% among corporate America. It's not Republicans. And by the way, if you want to go back into the past, and that's what he's inferring or implying, I think it's Democrats that put on the hoods and were KKK. I think it was Democrats that wanted separate but equal, wanted segregation. Do you really want to keep harking back to when your party was a little confused about what equality for all was all about, and why he keeps going back to a time in a country that he runs to paint such a brutal scenario as if it were pre-Mandela South Africa is beyond me.
Just so we're 100% clear, Kilmeade is refusing to engage with the historical fact that the policy positions of what we now know as the modern Democrat and Republican parties completely flipped their ideological makeup starting in the post-Civil War and Reconstruction eras as wealthy northern capitalists began shifting the Republican Party further to the right. In response, the Democrats slowly shifted further left, culminating with FDR winning the presidency, which in turn sparked the onset of the Republican-backed Southern strategy to convert Southern Dems to the new Republican Party. The Southern strategy directly targeted and exploited the white supremacist attitudes already present among Southern voters and endorsed racial segregation and discrimination, as well as right-wing policies that Republicans still advocate for and campaign on today, including anti-immigration policies, cutting taxes for the ultra-wealthy and businesses, gutting social safety nets, encouraging more state-sponsored violence, and weakening the power of the federal government. At the end of the day, This was just a power play by the Republicans to gain control back from decades of Democrat rule, and the victims were, like always, the most vulnerable and marginalized people in our society.
We started off with the original sin of slavery, fought to get rid of it. Reconstruction was a disaster. In the 60s, the Civil Rights Revolution, you could sit down and talk to civil rights leaders like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King Jr. and James Baldwin and find out what the issues were. You debated. Things were healthy. It was making America better. What you have right now is making America different. You have them painting fists, socialist fists, the symbol of socialism and communism, on the street.
The irony of praising Malcolm X, Martin Luther King Jr., and James Baldwin while whining about socialism isn't lost on us. But his painting the false picture of the civil rights movement was all about level-headed, calm debates and simple discussions about making America better. Makes Kilmeade one of the dumbest talking heads out there.
Because they're not trying to make America better. They're trying to destroy what America is. And by Democrats not saying anything, they might as well be agreeing with all of it.
This was far from the only time that Kilmeade smeared Black Lives Matter protesters following the murder of George Floyd either.
Are the goal of the anarchists and the protesters the rioters? Is it to make things better between races, to make America a more cohesive unit, a fairer country? Or is it to destroy every single city so America economically can never get off its back what the pandemic has put us on? As we begin to recover, they're destroying cities and blocks in a way in which it's hard to imagine in the short term we can possibly recover it all. When we start convincing these Antifa, these people, law enforcement officials, to not let the Antifa individuals go, sit there, lock them up, and interrogate them almost like you would Al-Qaeda, because they are undermining our country the same way these Islamic extremists were doing it. We were dead serious about that. We're not dead serious about this.
Remember what Tyrus said? Kilmeade has apparently done more for Black history than any of his critics.
I also don't think that it's a winning issue to bring up Kamala Harris, Indian, Black. It doesn't matter.
Right.
You're just running against a Democrat.
Issues.
And that's what I think the thing is. President Trump is so unaware of race and gender. A lot of people say, wow, you don't talk to women like that. You don't talk to minorities like that. He's like, I'm running against that person. Mm-hmm. That's all he sees. And we all know this by now.
You be the judge if Brian Kilmeade is the champion of Black history that Tyrus thinks he is. We've, already made up our minds. If you can and are willing, please become a paid member here at TYT Sports. And or go to tyt.com/join. In addition, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate it. Have a great day. Calling out elite people in comedy should be the rule of thumb.
I think Donald Trump's hair is actually another creature. Yeah. The hair's like going, good night, Donald. Good night, Donald. There we go.
Maybe it goes out. It goes out and makes money while he's asleep.
There is something about punching down that feels taboo, and punching up is the way to go.
Crack's not really my thing, but if it was, it would be fine if I was on that side.
Wow.
Don Jr.'s on coke.
We won with poorly educated. I love the poorly educated. I'm a very stable genius.
It is very important, the work that the Jordan Kleppers are doing, the work that the Good Liars are doing, the work that our team here at the Turks are doing, and many more.
What he does, he secretly puts the marker on the end of the putter, and then he looks like he's marking it, but really, now the mark is 3 feet closer. That's a way easier putt.
He cheats a lot. That if you cheat at golf, you cheat at life. The saying goes for Donald Trump.